Hi everyone, I'm Brianna and welcome to Roll Initiative. Today I'm going to be going over some things that you should know when you're starting your first D&D campaign. Let's get started. Okay, and the first thing we're going to start off with is Session 0. It's the first meeting of the game where everyone makes characters, talks about backstory, and how the game is going to go. Like what type of game you're going to be doing together, whether it's like a medieval fantasy or more of a sci-fi type thing or something like a mystery campaign. Most people don't know about this when they start D&D and don't do it for their first game, but I think it is very important as if you say you're running a D&D campaign, everyone can immediately think it's a certain type of game, like medieval fantasy, but if you were thinking of a mystery campaign, then all the heroic knight characters that they make are maybe not gonna do very well in your campaign because they didn't know what type of game it was. Session 0 can also be really good for scoping out bad players, people who are going to be problem players, because even if you know people well, they can surprise you when they start playing with their behavior. That sometimes people change completely playing in game, so you can start to get some hints about what they're going to be like in game from making their character sheets and talking about their backstories, also their attitude towards the other players. You can try and figure out if this group's going to work together, seeing if they get along well making their characters and talking about the campaign, if everyone's going to like the same things and get along. If you'd like to check out one of my other videos where I talk about Session 0 some more, I'll link it up in the cards for you. Another thing to keep in mind is that at the table, when you're the DM, what you say goes. Whether it's a ruling you've made or you say how something's going to go, that is going to be how it works. You're the master of the rules, but you've also got to be fair and considerate and try and keep things even. But being the master of the rules also means that you're in charge of the behavior at the table, like what is allowed and what isn't. Like, you need to be able to step up when something happens in game that you don't like. Like, if someone does something at your table that you don't think should be allowed, then you should shut that down when it starts because you don't want to let the other players get uncomfortable with someone acting out or inappropriately at the table. And while it's not necessarily all the DM's responsibility to keep bad behavior in check, the players are going to probably follow your lead and probably aren't going to do anything unless you do something first to make them see that it's not allowed at the table. And this sort of behavior is a lot easier to correct at the start and before it becomes a major problem. A lot of people as well try to do a completely homebrew world and everything being completely from their own imagination as their first campaign because they're excited to do a certain type of thing. And while that works for some people, it's a lot easier to start with a pre-made module and just running that. You can run those for a little while, or you can give a homebrew world a try, but it's a lot more difficult to run. Another thing to keep in mind is how many players you're inviting to the table. I have mentioned this before in one of my other videos, which I'll link up in the cards if you wanted to watch that. But it's a common mistake to invite too many people to your first campaign, as you want to invite all your friends. It's understandable, but you should aim for a party of maybe 3 to 5. The smaller your party is, the easier it's going to be to keep everything under control and in check. And the more people there are at the table, the longer everything is going to take, especially combat, and the less you'll get done in a session. But there you go, that's my advice. And if you found this video useful, I hope you'd consider liking it and maybe subscribing to my channel. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.